let's pretend I am a decision maker at Environmental Protection Agency or some kind of environmental organization in Serbia. Well, I would like to estimate the current annual air pollution damage in this country by using country-specific cost values. So I start with creating a scenario. I can start with naming scenario, like Serbia baseline. And I can choose a year. Now I choose 2023. I will later explain why. And I can do it in the other way around, first year, then name scenario. Anyway, in the end, I need to press this button add, and then I have created a new scenario. And the system automatically reads the first scenario I create as a baseline. So you can see this BL letters in parentheses. Then I can go to the next page, which is defining a special level of analysis. Geography, I can choose a national or subnational level. In this case, I have Serbia, so it is a national level, and I can choose one specific country. By national level, maybe I should mention that analysis on including several countries can be done, of course. So I can do the analysis for the entire all the countries I have in the list, or some kind of country group. It will also be national level, and subnational is everything that is within a country. So now I selected the level, and I can go further to enter in input data. Here, as you can see, I need to enter at least some exposure data to proceed. And in my case, exposure tables will be quite compact. I can show for PM2.5 because I have one country and 1 year only. So in this case, it's easier to fill them in manually. And my exposure units, they are shown here for each pollutant. They are pollutant dependent. For most of the pollutants here, it's annual population weighted mean concentration in micrograms per cubic meter. But what if I don't have any own exposure data from or any access to the models? So in this case, I can actually use a data set that also was compiled within the VALESOR project. And I can reach this by pressing Get Exposure Data button. And now I have a file. This data were compiled by INRIS, and I can open this. They summarize exposure data for both historical years and for the future. I don't understand why I can open it now. 1 moment, it's just a bit slow here. So here is the file, and I have information, and I have exposure data for all pollutants here. So the historical data compiled up to the year 2023. That's why I selected this year for analysis as a proxy for current situation. Also, some future exposure data are provided. So I actually already checked up the numbers here for Serbia. So I can just simply fill in the data manually. For PM2.5 it's 73,557. For PM10 it is higher, 25 something 262. For ozone 49,736. Maybe you notice also there were 2 data sets with historical data, so they have a different resolution. So here I put data with corresponding to higher resolution, 2.9, and VALESOR2. If I put the wrong number, it's no problem because it's will still work as an example. So now I put all the exposure data here, and well, I said I want to use the own cost data, right? So I probably should go and check the costs. I can do that when I go under cost values. I can see the cost set used for analysis. Here, morbidity costs for all the health outcomes that we have in the tool. We can change the region here. There is a set for Serbia, so we'll have country-specific sets and also several average numbers. In this case, we can use a number for Western Balkan group, country group, or UNICE Europe group. And pan-European basically means all the countries that we have in the tool. Actually, this feature is not fully implemented now, so when you will test, you'll see that the numbers are not changed when you switch in from one cost set to another, but in the final version of the tool, they will change. Just we don't have all the cost sets in the tool yet. Anyway, I check the numbers. So if I want to use a country specific, I probably should select Serbia. So I can then go to outputs, and here there is several selections you need to make as a user. You can select type of output, you can select environmental burden of disease or health impact assessment. In this particular case, we have only one scenario, so it will be environmental burden of disease automatically. In individual health outcomes or QALY, value of relative risk or unit risk function. Well, in this lot will probably be only relative risks. Output table is a relevant selection when you have more than one country or more than one region at the subnational level. Metric for mortality that I can change very quickly if I want to. Select cost value set. Again, I checked it earlier, but now I can actually change and select the final cost set I would like to use here at the output page. And I also can vary the currency if I want to. I can use currency conversion factor and the price year conversion factor to introduce my own currency. But I don't want to do it right now. Here's also the list of health outcomes, all the health outcomes that are in the tool. And you can see that some of them are already selected, some are not. The idea here is that when I go in as a user, every health outcome I need to include in the analysis is pre-selected according to expert recommendations. So I probably don't need to go and make changes, but can simply press the complete button. And these pre-selections are made for instance, for all-cause or cause-specific mortality. Only one option could be selected here, either all-cause or cause-specific. You cannot select both. Also, long-term, short-term impacts are selected depending on pollutants. For ozone, I think we have as default option like short-term mortality, and for SO2 as well, while for particles and for NO2, long-term mortality effects are included as default selections. So if I think that's correct selection, I don't need to do anything else here. So I can go and just press the button complete. And now the tool calculates the results. I see it is valuation by default here because it is a default selection here, and you can see the results for each health outcome and also the total damage and distribution by different types of costs, like healthcare costs, productivity loss, disutility. That's for morbidity, and also mortality costs as a separate line here. Since it's valuation, you can also make diagrams, charts. Here we can see the damage per health outcome, same damage per pollutant, same damage per impact time, which is mortality, morbidity, and what was the last one? And the damage per cross type. So all of it is presented in both table form and as a diagram. Right, so this was all about use case 1. Now, if I want to do another analysis, next analysis project, I can just press this reset project and delete scenario set. And now I'm back at page 1 and start another use case. Use case 2. Now I'm health researcher from Norway who studies lung cancer. I want to know how many lung cancer cases in the Nordic countries caused by air pollution can be expected in the next decade. In this case, I create scenario. I can call it Nordic. I can select the whole decade at once. Maybe not this one, but this one is more relevant as next decade. And now I press add. So now I have one scenario with 10 years. And when I go to special level, there is no group for Nordic countries, but I can make it manually by selecting countries. So Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I see all of them here. Next stage, input data. Well, okay, since I know that lung cancer is attributable to PM 2.5, I only can mark this pollutant, so maybe I don't need to look at anything else. And now I need to enter exposure data, but as you can see, this table is larger than the previous one, and I don't want to add all of this data manually. So there is a button called Show Excel format. So I will do this via Excel, and this button opens a window where I can first copy, select, and then copy this provided text, and then I can put it into Excel. Actually, I did this already, so you can see, and it was like this when I copy it from the tool, and then I fill this data that I can probably get from some modules. So then I copy the whole table and put it back to the tool, to this cell. So now when I press OK, it should be there, I hope, yes. So now I have all the numbers here in the table. Great. So then I can go to the outputs. In the outputs, in this case, I am interested in health impacts, not valuation. And actually, I am only interested in one health impact, which is lung cancer. So I can just leave this one health endpoint outcome, incidence of lung cancer. And let me just check if I need to do any other selections here. I can switch between premature death and okay, it's not relevant for cancer incidence. So I just press complete, and now I see the table with this data by country and in total for all the years and all scenarios I created. In this case, it's only one scenario. I can see it in the table, and I can see it in this combined chart. I made the exposure so that it goes down, so you can also see this. nice decline in a diagram. Yes, and yeah, I see we need to do some improvements here. But anyway, we only see this one health outcome. This is which is distributed by countries. Right, I think it was all about this use case 2. So I will now reset the project. I will delete scenario set, and use case 3 is called heating and cooling in European Union. And now we are an international team of researchers investigating scenarios for introducing new heating and cooling technologies in the residential sector in the European Union, and it should be introduced by 2030. We are interested in both health impacts and in damage in the European Union. We don't need a distribution by country. We are only interested in the effect in total for the EU. And we also have some own cost values, not default values, so that we would like to use them instead of defaults. In this case, I need to do several scenarios because we have a baseline, we have scenarios called heat pumps and solar. And for those, for each of them, I will provide 2 years. So for baseline, I select which one was it? 30 and 40. No, 30 and 50. Yes. So I add this one, and then I have solar, which is also the same years. And oh, sorry, it was wrong year, so I can actually modify. I think so, not 40, but 30. And then heat pumps. So, and the same 2 years I can select here. So now I have 3 scenarios, and I go to special level, and I can select EU27, and then I go to input data. So the exposure here can be entered for all pollutants. I can just make some, examples. Put data for, let's start with PM 2.5. So I do the same, I copy and put them to Excel. And in this case, yes, that will be, yes, actually it will be slightly different, but I can put some numbers just to show the examples. And let me see if it will be the correct numbers and what it will be. Yeah, okay. So now my table is full with numbers. And I can then just continue using this one pollutant as an example. But I also said that we have own cost values. So now I can go to cost values. In this case, yeah, we can use some average numbers, or we can change numbers from defaults to something else. I can, for change the numbers for, let's say, well, the first one, asthma in children, will be easier. I can change any of morbidity outcomes, for instance, to anything else, and you'll see that it is changed now. If I want, I can also do reset. Here, I didn't show it last time. That was for mortality, we have a separate button for VALE, VSL, and value of equality. That also can be changed. So now I did make changes, and I can go to outputs. So first I want to see maybe health impacts. And here, as I have many countries, I can choose between countries aggregated and countries separately. For countries aggregated, I will see all scenario combinations in one table. So maybe we can start with this one. And actually, I said we are not interested in looking at countries separately, but we are interested in the EU as a whole. So here you can see all the scenarios, including baseline, as it is the environmental burden of disease selected, not health impact assessment. So we have all the scenarios, both baseline, heat pumps, and solar, and the numbers for each of them. Separate health impacts, right? Then if I want to make any changes, I can try health impact assessments. Let's see. So we'll see now only the difference, and I'm not well, the negative numbers here, it's probably because I entered exposure data a bit wrong. If exposure data, so it calculates the difference between baseline and any other scenarios. So just you need to be careful what you put in, really. But you see that it is a difference, no longer absolute numbers, and this is how it's supposed to be. Also, I can make the same thing for evaluation. And actually, I don't need to press complete another time. I think once I've done this, it is recalculated automatically. So for evaluation, I see the table and the charts. I can see here I selected environmental burden of disease, I guess. So yes, so we see the absolute damage numbers for each of the scenario here. Distributed by health outcome, also distributed by pollutant, and by impact type, and also by cost type. So these four standard diagrams we see for evaluation. What else I wanted to see here? Yeah, well, I think it was all I wanted to see here for this particular analysis. So I will now come to the next one. Reset this one first. Yeah, right. Maybe one thing I forgot, we can hide filters and check if it's here anything under user made changes to original data, because I did make some changes, and now I see that there are some changes under cost values. For asthma children, I see, yeah, but it shows what numbers were changed to what numbers. Slightly wrong titles here, but it's something I guess easy to fix. But the idea here is that it shows me as a user what changes I did make to remind me that I didn't use default values. So now I make reset. Okay. And I will now try another, so probably use case 5 first, just to make sure we have time. Because use case 4 is pretty similar to the use case 3. So use case 5, now I'm a decision maker in the province of Milan in Italy, and we would like to suggest a range of measures to reduce air pollution in municipalities A and B to be introduced by 2030. And I would like to know how these measures will affect population health measured in QALY, and how much the choice of exposure response functions will affect those results. In this case, I need to define two scenarios for the same year. One I will name the baseline, or I know Italy. So I will see that it's baseline, and the other one will be called transport, and the same year I can select, press and end. Great, then I go to the next page, special level. Here it will be different. So now I need to choose subnational level, and I will work with two regions. So let's call one city A. What I need to select here is which country it belongs to, because it will affect assumed distribution of population age. Also, the incidence rate is it is assumed to be the same as for the entire country, which might be not the case in reality, but this is an approximation. And we enter population for this city. A, let's say it's like 500 people, and then we can put another region, B, same country. It might be different country, but we'll say that it's the same. And here for the years I defined earlier, I enter population, so I only see year 2030 because I defined my scenario this way. So let's see, it's 1 million people in this city. Okay, so now we have two cities, both are in Italy, and we can now go to the next level. Input data. Let me select PM 2.5, for instance. Here we see quite small table, but maybe, okay, I'll be lazy and use the Excel function again. So for Italy, I have this table, and I put it here. I press OK. For some reason, it's not. Maybe yes, right, because I name scenarios differently. So okay, I can put some random numbers manually, and so this is my exposure table. Let's say for PM, we can put some numbers for NO2 also. In this case, some random numbers. Of course, it's better to use actual exposure data you have available. So what is important here that we define this scenario that in the case of transport measures, the exposure will be lower. So now we have two pollutants with exposure data. We have data in the tables. So I would like to see what is the effect of exposure response functions. For that, I can go and check in the health outcomes menu what exposure response functions are used by default. And here we have table by pollutant. We selected PM 2.5, and you see for each health outcomes there are exposure response functions, their values, and some other information, and the sources, of course. So here I can also change data. I'll make some random change, probably shouldn't be lower than high end, but anyway, I can change to anything here. And then I go to outputs. I can select health impacts, and I can select health impact assessment. So also I can see regions aggregated or separately. In this case, maybe I can see separately. And when I press complete, I see the difference between the baseline scenario and the transport scenario in this table. Yes, so as I selected regions separately, I actually the difference is shown for this combination transport scenario year 2030. If I had several scenarios here, I would need to select which scenario combination to show in the output table. So you see the differences, and as it's health impact assessment, you don't see any totals because they're not summed up. But we can change to, for instance, valuation, and then you will be able to see their total numbers and also the charts here, the bars that are quite large for now. But the idea is that you can see the distribution of, in this case, health benefit from this scenario in the two regions, and you can see distribution by pollutant, by region here. So we need to do something with the colors, and by impact type, and you can like deselect here the parts of this diagram, so you can like unmark, or you can easily see which is which color is which part of the legend. So I would like also to demonstrate how it works for quality, because my request, actually, I would like to see the qualities, which I didn't yet checked. So this is the results calculated with quality as alternative metrics, and yeah, I probably need to say that for now we don't have like good quality values for all the health outcomes. So there are some gaps that we still need to fill, but the results are shown in the same format. We have a table and the bars with the different colors. So I guess I will stop this demonstration now, and again reset project just to show how it works. So this is what all the air model, the CAM model, is not calculating any results now, but we're working on it. And actually, I think I had some, before we go to the testing, what I would like to say that we are going to finalize the tool, as mentioned, before the end of the year. And you're welcome to send your feedback after the testing to me. Also, here's the link to the surveys that we have. We would like to know how usable this tool is for your work, and if you usually use other tools for similar purposes. So this is a survey. We would really ask you to fill in, if maybe not necessarily now, but when you have time.